Golf's no different from hockey. Requires talent, self-discipline.
Golf requires goofy pants and a fat ass. You should talk to my neighbor, the accountant, probably a great golfer, huge ass.
How do you measure yourself with other golfers? By height.
It's a very, very special honor.
I'm Paula Kramer, and you're listening.
Well, we're waiting.
Hi, this is Martin Cove, a.k.a. John Kreese from Cobra Kai, and you're listening to
Quiet, Please.
Let the word go out from here across the land. Let Daddy Noonan approve.
Hi, boys. Nice day for golf, ain't it? Quiet, please. Oh, you got secrets, eh?
Hey, this is Shooter McGavin. You're listening to the...
Hey, you guys. Hey, we're trying to have a podcast over here.
Indeed, we are. Welcome to the latest edition of Quiet Please, the golf podcast. I'm Alan Depew. And as always, we will be talking about what's the latest happenings in the game, discussing the men and women that are shaping it, and we'll work in a few little hijinks here and there, a few laughs, hopefully, along the next 45 minutes. I'm joined, as always, by my normal cast of characters, and we have a bonus this week. But immediately to my right, golfer, teacher, author, PGA award winner, Brendan Elliott. Good to see you. You've been absent a little bit, my friend.
Very busy, but I'm always going to come home to you, fellas.
Oh, how's that forehead looking, Brendan?
Yeah, I was going to say
I'm not taking this bad boy off.
Last time there you go.
There's some there. No Stewart Sink happening.
It's not as bad as the last time.
Good.
Hailing from the Bourbon Country, Boston Bob Baldessari. Hello, Bobby.
Good evening. Great to be here. We have a special guest tonight that's going to be wicked awesome.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'm going to allow you to introduce him, and the ever-present one, golfing savant, as I like to call him, Mr. Andy Hydorn.
Happy to be here with you, kind gentlemen.
Bobby, floor is yours. Introduce our friend Jared.
Absolutely. Well, we're really, really privileged to have Jared Doerfler with us tonight. I first met Jared through his e-newsletter that he was doing weekly called Perfect Putt. I think I was number 300 or 400 person. And now he's got over 10,000, as he calls them, intelligent and curious subscribers. I think he does the best job, honest to God, best job of looking at business in the golf industry, boiling it down to being understandable, but enjoyable and educational. I think it's amazing how he takes complex, you really do, Jared. You take complex subjects and put them into something where you could read your newsletter and go, wow, I can comprehend that. It makes sense to me. We'll talk about more of your Perfect Putt, but welcome to the Quiet Please podcast.
Yeah, thanks for having me, fellas. I appreciate it. And Bob, I'm happy that you're an OG subscriber. That must have been like month number 4 or 5, so I appreciate you sticking with me. It's been a fun journey. Perfect Putt's been a lot of fun to write. I get really curious about researching the topics in golf, and you had a lot of nice things, a lot of kind things to say, probably too kind, so I appreciate that. Thank you.
Well, it's great to have you here, and I think we started on the trivia, I think at the top end.
Bobby is excited. New feature. Andy kind of launched it last week with throwing out a question there. And by the way, as we've always say, any listeners that are out there, if you would like to chime in, we are streaming live. You can comment. We'll try to bring them up here on the screen. Keep it clean, guys and gals. But Andy asked an interesting trivia question, and Bobby, our resident historian, needed to take over and say, Boston Bob's brain teasers. They're wicked.
They're wicked. You got to be wicked smart to get these teases. Okay, so we'll give the answer at the end of the show. But on Sunday at the Texas Children's Hospital Houston Open mouthful, Minwoo Lee wins. He's the brother of LPGA Tour winner Minjee Lee. So this is the third time a brother-sister tandem have both won, brother on the PGA Tour, sister on the LPGA Tour. Who are the other two? Got to name all 4 names. Who are the other 2 brother-sister combo winners?
Wicked good question.
That's a good one.
Wicked.
I only know one.
And you know what? And what a great segue, Andy. Let's talk about Min Woo. What the chef was cooking.
I mean, I couldn't have been more excited watching this kid try to win. You know, coming down the stretch, just ripping off 194 ball speed tee shots. I mean, it's just crazy. And you know, he's great. He's great with the crowd. He's great with his fans on social media. He's a great character. He's been really good on TGL. So I think it's a great victory, and it's nice to have it in my hometown.
Your hometown.
Indeed. Jared, did you catch any of the action this weekend with Min Woo and Scotty stalking him?
I watched a little bit of it, yeah, on Sunday, and fun to watch. The course looked like it was in great shape, although some of the golfers didn't like the no rough and the rye overseed. But as a fan watching on TV, it looked like a lot of fun. Great course, great track. I was kind of hoping that Gary would get a chance to get in a playoff at least. But Min Woo's a fan favorite. I mean, how can you not like that guy? He's got a lot of energy. It was fun to see him win.
BE, I'll tell you what. Packed. My pub was packed. The pub room was packed. Everybody's watching the. It almost had a. I'm not going to say major feel, but I mean everybody was interested in it because here's Scotty, world number one, you know, chasing down the kid, and when he flares it right on 16, I literally went, "Uh-oh."
Yep.
Is it just me, or even if you're rooting for somebody like I was for him, is it just me, like when you like that lead that was 4 or 5 or whatever it is, and it starts to shrink and shrink and shrink, and you're not wishing bad on anybody, but I mean, that would have been a hell of a playoff with those 3 guys, meaning Gary Woodland and Scotty Scheffler and him. That would have been fantastic, but it was awesome to see him win. Good thing he did a little aim point there on that last putt because, you know, you never know. Right, Rory?
Bobby, chime in here.
Oh, well, it was exciting to watch the last few holes. When he went up by 3, you get the feeling like, oh, it was just, you know, he's playing well. Those irons were just amazing, his iron control. And I think people forget about PGA Tour players when they're on. They can really control that iron depth to the green if it's up front, middle, and maybe they want to be 15 feet behind it because it's a better putt. I mean, that pinpoint accuracy, it's like when Ben Hogan said, you know, if you ever make a hole in one, Ben, he goes, I'm not aiming at the pin. You know.
Can we talk about too? We're in the clubhouse after our round of golf watching the end of the tournament, and Min Woo hits it over the green, you know, by a yard or so in the last hole, and he's got uphill through the fringe and then a fairly long putt, and we're all sitting there thinking that, oh, he's going to get this hopefully inside 6 feet. Well, no, he rolls it up to about 6 inches. I mean, like that takes such guts to do that, you know. And his first victory, he stands over that putt and rolls it right up next to the hole.
Without question, I made the comment though when he made the tee shot on 15, and then the tee shot obviously on 16. I looked at the person I was sitting there with at the table, and I was like, you know, if he doesn't compose himself coming down the fairway here on 16, Gary Woodland could be looking at finishing second or being in a playoff at that point. And he steadied himself. He hit a great shot, hit the appropriate shot in on 16. You would agree, Mr. Hydorn?
Yeah, say that again.
I said, did he hit the appropriate shot on number 16? I mean,
I
100 and
I didn't see that hole.
He was only like 100. He had 194 in on a par 5. Kid just bombs it.
Yeah.
Oh, it's amazing.
I only saw the last hole, so.
Got it. All right. So, any one of you feel free to chime in. What does this mean looking ahead for his career?
I mean, this was just a matter of time. We all kind of knew that this was just a matter of time. But I think for him, it's that little last piece of the puzzle for him to feel like he belongs up there on top. Until somebody wins, you're always going to question it, even when you're hanging with all these guys in TGL, or you got the fan base, or you're being featured on Full Swing. Until you get that first W, you're always questioning. So this was massive for him.
Yeah, from an economic standpoint, it's great having Jared here because you're a tour player, sponsorship, boom. Now you're a winner, and now if you can get second. But have you done any study on that, Jared, as far as sponsorship? And I know the different, the hat, the top, the shirt, and everything. But being a winner has got to help him, right?
Yeah, it'll help him for sure. Whenever I speak with agents on this, it's all about the majors. If you're a Masters winner, I mean, your sponsorship deals and endorsements obviously have gone up quite significantly, and then really a battle between the Open and the U.S. Open after that, and then the PGA. But yeah, being a winner, an agent can go back and whenever is renegotiating for sure, can add that to their file.
I had a connection that was with Doerfler one time, and he was telling me that Duff he'd get X number of dollars for just wearing a certain hat during the Tuesday practice round. I mean, any sense on that, Jared? What's something like that?
It varies so widely. It'd be like it's almost unresponsible to kind of throw out numbers, but hats obviously most important. Front of logos next, and then your collar logo after that. I mean, it varies so widely on tour. If you're a top 20 guy, you're making well into seven figures. I mean, but if you're 100 guy, you might pull in. It depends how popular you are. If you look at a guy like Joel Damon, he does really well off the course because he's so popular. But what's he ranked in the world? I think 140th or 150th, something like that. So again, it really varies widely. When you get into endorsements, what I think the most interesting thing on that is actually bonuses from sponsors. And what these sponsors do, they take out insurance policies to do it. And I've written about it a couple of times in the Masters. And this company called Black Swan in Ireland, they'll write probably a dozen policies for the Masters alone, and those are well into seven-figure payouts for their guys to win. I think those are kind of like the quiet money in golf, if you will. But a lot of these guys have bonuses, whether that's winning a major, winning a tour event, top 50 in the world, whatever their sponsors want to do and whatever they want to write, somebody will be willing to put insurance against it essentially and bet on it. And so that always gets me interested because, it's been, rumored before about some, well, not rumored, I guess it's been talked about some before of, when people winning a major and how much money they're getting from a payout standpoint. It's pretty interesting from sponsors on a bonus standpoint.
Yeah, definitely. It was funny.
I'd hate to be the guy having to set those numbers at the insurance company. That would be a little bit difficult to sleep at night, I would imagine.
Little piece of trivia. That the first company that really went big on headwear on the PGA Tour.
Who was it?
Amana
refrigerators.
Yeah.
Was it really? I would love to get one of those hats just because I live in Iowa, and Amana's has deep roots in Iowa. And there's also a golf course called Amana Colonies in Iowa.
There is indeed. I didn't know you were in Iowa. I went to college in Iowa.
Whereabouts, Alan?
Graceland University. Shout out to the Yellow Jackets.
Lamoni, Iowa.
Lamoni, Iowa. Yes.
So truth be told, when I had my company back nine, we were in the headwear business. We contacted the parent company of Amana to license Amana headwear.
Nice.
And we got nowhere with them. I mean, they couldn't for the life of them figure out why I was wanting to do a deal with them for refrigerator brand, And we explained to him the history and the legacy of the Amana hats in golf, and it just fell on deaf ears. But we were definitely wanting to do that.
That's awesome.
So
I'll give you guys just quick context just to kind of tie a bow on that one, because I just pulled it up because I wanted to get the numbers right. But when Darren Clark won the Open, he agreed to wear the Dunlop logo for free. But if he won a major championship, they'd pay him a $3 million bonus. And so when he won the Open, he got $1.45 million just for first place, and then he got a $3 million bonus.
Wow.
From Dunlop. And I think Lee Westwood actually had the same deal around the same time frame as well. And Lee was close a couple of times, but didn't get the job done there on winning the major. So yeah, I mean there's and what they'll do is they'll go and underwrite that bonus. And Black Swan Sports in Ireland, they do a lot of that, and it's super interesting stuff if you really dive into nitty gritty. They don't ever give me like details, and obviously I wouldn't expect them to do on players and how much money, but they'll give me a pretty solid figure. Like, hey, we've got 10 guys that, if they win, they'll get 7-figure bonuses this week. And I think that's super fascinating.
Wow.
Hang on. Let me figure out how many Guinnesses Darren Clark bought with that $3 million bonus.
It's, I think inflation adjusted, it's like 4.5 million today or something like that. So, yeah.
I wonder what these companies, like, how would they figure their return on their investment? I mean, when you're talking a figure like that, would you have any insight on that?
Yeah, that's definitely not an area of expertise for me. But what they do is, from a viewership standpoint, social standpoint, how many times was that clip played? How much? I mean, how long will that player be still wearing that logo after media appearances, et cetera? And generally, I think it usually works out pretty well for that company. Yeah. So, I mean, it's really interesting from measuring that from like a digital impression standpoint. Today, it's different than when he won in 2011 for sure, but just because we're on digital so much more than even in 2011.
B, let me ask you a question. Obviously, you made the comment that it was just a matter of time. Where does this put him with? And I'm going to lump a lot on Minwoo right out of the gate here. But like Viktor and Collin, that next stage of young guns that are coming up, does it validate him? Does it start to kick him up into that group? Obviously, Morikawa's won majors, but Andy shaking that already on me. Jesus,
I think it's too soon. Obviously, he's got all the tools in the toolbox. I mean, For a guy that's not that big, he just really pumps it out there, and he's got a solid short game. I'd have to jump into the stats to kind of comb through that and see, but I don't think, Alan, that he's quite at that level yet. But if he rolls off, another 1, maybe 2 victories this year, then we can reevaluate that and look at it later in the season.
All right, Andy, then I'll spin it another way then. You mentioned that his presence on social media and what have you. Another good social media guy, Michael Kim. Another big story coming out of Houston this week.
So not only that, Michael Kim. I have a friend, Sam Morrow here, who lives in Houston. He's a golf junkie, and he was looking to go to the tournament this week on Thursday, and he was asking around his friends, couldn't get a ticket. Michael Kim got him a ticket because I believe Michael Kim every week does stuff for his fans and followers and gets him into the events. But Michael Kim got him a ticket to the tournament. And as Sam posted, he's like, I have a new favorite golfer. It's pretty awesome. But to your point, he accomplished something this week, didn't he?
He did indeed. Road to Augusta.
Yeah.
Where BE will be posting up here shortly.
Yeah. So that was by way of world golf rankings. You got to slip into that top 50. Is that how he got in?
Yeah, and he made it in by, I think it was 1/100th of a point.
Wow.
I believe.
I heard them talking this week about like I think Ben Griffin just missed.
Yeah.
By 1/100th of a point.
Yeah, but they were telling him, like top 32 is going to do it for you, and he finished 18th, and he didn't get in. So hard to kind of pick those numbers as you're coming down the stretch.
He still technically can if he wins at Valero, right?
Did you hear the other big news coming out of Augusta this week? This is the last year of the Garden Gnome being sold.
Oh, then I've got to get there early.
Yeah,
is that true? Or did you read that where did you read that at?
I've got my sources.
Okay.
I read it in the Golf Onion.
I saw Jeff Shackelford's post today, his newsletter. I'm not sure if you know who he is, but he's a great writer. Yeah. And it looked to me like it was an April Fool's post that he had. So I was curious if the Garden Gnome was also an April Fool's deal that was in there. But apparently not then.
Well, I'll have to triple confirm because I stay in touch with some people there and I cannot deny or confirm anything.
Well, it's going to be a hot item on eBay then this year. You wait and see.
Yeah, if it is true,
yeah.
All right, I can't believe I'm about to do this, but here's a question from the audience and one that we know well. Christian reporting from Vegas. Who wins?
I say it's Vicar.
Yeah, Viktor.
Jared, Christian is our fifth on the podcast. Okay, when he's not out traveling the world, roughing it in Vegas at a convention this week. I agree. Victor's going to win.
Yep.
One last question before we move away from the tour event. Rory, gearing up, getting ready. Andy shaking his head yes because he picks Rory every time. Is it too early to make Augusta picks?
It was the perfect week for Rory.
I agree. Yep.
Shows flashes of brilliance.
Jared, would you like to chime in?
For Augusta?
Yeah.
Yeah, just my dad's in Florida, and so I talked to him for about an hour, and we're in a one and done pool together, and he's retired, but yet he has no time to look at this stuff. It really baffles me. He really wants to pick Rory this week, and I actually like the pick too. But we're gonna take Collin. Been playing well lately, never missed a cut there. In the last 3 years, he's had a top 10. So I do like Collin for Augusta this year. But Scotty, Ludwig, and Rory, I don't know. Those are gonna be the top 3 pick guys, I would imagine.
Boston Bob.
I might have to hang with the Rory thing. I haven't done that for a few years, but I think he's peaking into that. It's almost like you don't want to over peak, but I think he's right there. I think it'll be a mental thing for him more than anything.
He made that putt on the 18th hole at the Players.
That was big.
That's what he needed.
Yep. That was big.
I agree with that, Mr. Hydorn, but I got to go with Jared. I think it's Scotty or Hovland. Hovland's my dude. Hovland's been my guy forever.
Hovland, I'm telling you, Hovland, reading between the lines with the stuff that he says, I know he won last week, but
actually, I'll even give you another one that's Aubert. I love that kid's game.
Yeah,
really.
Who doesn't?
Yeah.
Or you were looked like you were leaning in, like you were about to, have another Andy Hydorn trait, leaning in. All right, so who wants to talk about Bubba? BE?
I'll start. He had a good point in one way you can look at this is Scotty's 7 wins, phenomenal, Olympic gold medal. I mean, you can't take anything away from Scotty. I would say that that's up there, maybe one of the top 3 best seasons. But come on, Bubba. Tiger in 2000 and that stretch from like 99, 2000, 2001, we'll never see anything like that. We'll never have somebody holding on to all 4 major championships at the same time. That's just never going to happen.
Yeah, Bubba's got an interesting way of looking at things. He always has, probably always will. And I read that quote and then I watched it and I watched the video just to make sure, the tone and everything. And I was like, wow, he really believes that. I guess if you believe it, that's one thing, but I'm with Brennan. I don't know. It was phenomenal year by Scotty. No doubt. One of the top X, no doubt. But yeah, that was, but people forget about the Ben Hogan year when he won 3 majors and he coming back from the car accident. I mean, there's been some unbelievable years by PGA, tour players, but I don't know. I got to give the nod to Tiger there.
I'm a big believer that there's always something personal behind comments like that. I don't know what it is or what it even could be, but when somebody makes a statement like that, it's pretty emphatic in the way he did it. There's got to be something personal there.
Well, there's the tie there with Ted Scott. I don't know if Bubba and Scotty know each other off the course very well or not, but it was a take, and I respect hot takes. I don't care if I agree or disagree. I like hot takes.
Do you think he's in referencing it to? I mean, I actually didn't hear the specific quotes. I got the paraphrase from people, but was he specifically saying that it was because the level of talent in 2024 is superior than the talent that in 2020? Is that the gist of?
It was, but
excuse me, not 2020.
Yeah, and that was the gist of it. And while maybe the depth is a little bit wider, come on, man, you had like David Duval was playing well at that time. Vijay Singh was a stud. I mean, there was just so many so many good players. Even Hal Sutton at that period of time in the around 2000. I mean, he took Tiger down at the Players, so he there's enough good players back in that time frame.
More recency bias.
Yep.
It's you can look at Ernie Els now, or you can look at VJ now, playing Champions Tour golf and think that they weren't as good as Justin Thomas is. Sorry. And I'm not saying that Justin Thomas isn't as good as they were. I'm just saying that it's too easy to have recency bias on opinions like that.
Well, you've seen the one that's going around right now on social with Jack, and they write in the number of majors, and they write in the check marks and what have you to validate who the real number one, the real GOAT, Bobby, from a historical perspective.
Me? Am I the discussion?
Yeah, you're the GOAT.
Clearly you're the GOAT.
Oh my God, yeah. Well, I want to, if we can maybe transfer to maybe a GOAT in his own sense with what he's doing with writing those business columns, Jared. And so I mentioned at the top of the show that, you started sort of humbly, and now you're over 10,000 intelligent and I love that, intelligent and curious subscribers. How did you come up with the idea? What got you started to do this? And what do you attribute the growth to be?
Yeah, I started this, and by the way, I don't think 10,000 is a huge number. I mean, it's a nice number. I don't think it's a huge number. There's a lot of work to do to keep growing that thing. But I was finishing an MBA course, and I had an elective to burn. Took entrepreneurship and innovation, and the instructor was big on writing online for 2 basic reasons that it can be applied to life. Accountability, number 1, and accountability and discipline. And then number 2 is taking criticism from people that you don't know. Whenever I write a newsletter today, and the golf world is pretty opinionated as it is, a lot of successful people play golf, and that's fine. And yeah, I inevitably get a dozen emails back telling me why I'm wrong, and I'm perfectly fine with that. I may disagree with their opinion, but that's life. Not everyone's going to agree with you. So that's kind of what he said. And so I'm like, well, I love golf. I played golf in college, and I love business. And so I'm like, look, let's marry these two things together. So I started writing about the business side of golf, and with nothing, no pre-audience, nothing on social. I had like 55 Twitter followers or something before, and just started writing consistently, and really enjoyed researching. And I think I've had quite a bit of luck too along the way. The Callaway Top Golf thing was going on right when I started. I started in 2021, so the COVID boom was rampant, and a lot of people were curious about learning about the business side of golf. And I don't think I'm necessarily doing anything unique per se, but I'm just presenting it in a different manner. All this, most of my pieces, I would say like 80% aren't original content. The other 20, I'll actually go and do a survey and create original content. But we're just packaging that in a way that is easy to read, and not stuck on a website with maybe a bunch of ads and videos playing, so it's difficult and frustrating to read.
Hey, Jared, as a fellow writer, I've been doing it for quite a while, but I pivoted back in December, sold my academy. I'm still teaching a little bit with a new academy, but I've been doing a lot of media work the last year or so. And tell me what the format that you use, Substack. I just recently started on Substack. Haven't pumped out anything yet. Got it all formatted and put together. But tell me about that platform specifically, and how that's kind of helped you with your love of the game and your love of writing.
Yeah, Substack's really like the writer's platform. I think it's a great platform. The only negative about Substack, really, or any link these days, unfortunately, is like I could post a piece on Twitter, and then with a link to it, pre-Elon, and get 500,000 views and 10,000 visits to the website. That's a little more tough to do today. And then Substack and Twitter had their had I guess a difference of opinion on things, I think about a year and a half ago or so. And so at one point they were muting Substack links where you would get no views, and so that's the only negative. But Substack is really good, because the problem with writing is there's a lot of really good writers out there. The problem is finding people to read them. And so what I did is I posted a lot of stuff on Twitter on a daily basis and a weekly basis, engaging stuff, a lot of historical stuff as well, like how Titleist was founded, or how the golf tee was invented, and a lot of those stories, and to drive people to the newsletter. And I think you got to find that marketing funnel really to get down to the writing so people can read it.
Cool.
Jared, what's a couple of things that I guess you'd like to dive in deeper on that you haven't so far?
I love the sponsorship side of things, like what you guys were talking about earlier. And, again, in my conversations, like that and Caddy Pay, I think is super interesting. Caddy Pay has been written about a lot, and I think everyone's got a pretty good understanding of how it is. But I think everyone should also know that not every contract is the exact same. It's generally a 10-7 split, and $200 to $2,500 guarantee a week. But there could be a caddy out there with much higher.
Except for Cooch.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, there may be a guy out there with a different, 3 splits, or there may be a guy out there with a higher split and a higher guarantee. So it's kind of like sponsorships, but I love those two things. I think they're super interesting, mainly because no one really knows. I mean, we all have a pretty good idea. Like my roommate, in college is a caddy on the PGA Tour. He's been fired 5 times, and he's currently looking for a bag right now. And I mean, he gave me the basic numbers, one time, but it's he's caddying for maybe, a guy that's 80th in the world. If you're caddying for a guy that's, Scotty, maybe your contract's a little bit different.
So, Jared, question for you. What are your thoughts on the business model and the sustainability of LIV?
It's a great question. So I generally in all the podcasts that I've done since this started and writing, I've generally, I've generally, I don't know how you guys lean. I don't really care. I generally play it down the middle because it's so divisive. And, I respect people's opinions if they're for it or they're against it. Like for me, I just try to look at it from the business sense. And if you do the math backwards, it doesn't make sense from a business standpoint because, the tour gets around 50% of their revenue from media deals. And, they do $2 billion or so in revenue. And so that means they've got a $1 billion media deal thereabouts. And, Liv has paid, a lot of money with his guaranteed contracts. And so obviously getting the TV deal was, no one knows the terms of the deal, how much they're getting paid, if they are getting paid, or if they're getting an ad revenue share. But, it's from a business sense, just a pure play business sense, it doesn't make financial sense. But a lot of people argue that it's not necessarily looked at from a business sense. They're looked at from trying to promote Saudi Arabia and for travel and for golf there. And if you want to go that angle, that's fine too. I said, I don't know, in 2022 when this thing first started, I said I'd be surprised if it was around in 5 years, and I'll probably be eating my words on that. It looks like right now, but you never know. I think Mike Wan said it really well at the beginning of this whole thing. Anyone can do anything for 1 year. Anyone can do anything for 3 years, but can you stick around for 5 or 10? And I got a lot of respect for Mike Wan too at the USGA. I think he's done a nice job, and wherever he's been, he's done a nice job. So as far as Liv, I personally don't get into watching it too much. Outside a couple of the guys that I miss seeing play over there. I'm not really into the 54 holes and the no cut. Just that was a college event for us, 54 holes and no cut. I like to see competition. I think cream rises to the top, and 72 holes gives us that ability for that cream to rise to the top a little bit longer.
Hey, Jared, speaking of where Liv might be, if you went into your perfect putt crystal ball and looked ahead for 2, 5, or some point in time, is there anything you've been looking at that you think might be interesting or share, or something that sort of you get an idea that the golf business may go one way or the other, or maybe there's something new out there that we haven't even heard about and you've tracked it and you think, hey, in 5 years, look out for X, Y, Z?
Yeah, I'm a big proponent of lighted golf and par 3 golf. And you can combine both of those things together. If you guys have seen like grass clippings in Tempe, they're like the perfect model for it. Now, I think we shouldn't get carried away with it. The comp that I always hear when somebody reaches out to me like, hey, I want to do, a lighted par 3 here. And they generally, everyone that does research on this that reaches out to me, they always reference South Korea. And I think we need to be careful with Korea. They're so much different than us. They have a very limited amount of land. And so they can't build courses. And so what they do is they put lights up, and then they also have indoor golf basically on every corner like a coffee shop. And I don't think that that's necessarily our case where every course is going to have lights on it. But I do think lighted par 3s is a huge opportunity, especially if you're in a southern state like Arizona. A lot of golf courses don't do well from a green fee standpoint. In the summer, obviously, it's 110, 120 degrees, but they can open when the sun sets because it dips down to 85, 90, whatever it is, and it's bearable. It's also a lot of fun. And so, like, my wife went out. We went out last winter, and we played, and we had an absolute blast out there. She loved it. My wife's not a huge golfer, and I think that that's a natural bridge from, like, off-course golf to getting on-course golf. And so lighted par 3s and par 3s in general. We got a lot of par 3 courses. You throw some lights on there, and it can be a nice revenue generating factor, and it's just fun too. It's just pure fun.
Hey, Jared, are you sitting securely in your seat at this point, all feet on the ground?
Yeah.
We have a little segment that Andy leads called the hot seat. So you're going to get turned over to the hot seat master.
Very simple questions. It's nothing too antagonizing. So we'll start with an easy one. What's your best 18-hole score?
Tournament or For fun.
And your best score ever, tournament or casual?
64.
Nice.
Solid.
What's your favorite course that you've ever played?
I hate this question. Probably right now it's Prairie Dunes, the Dunes course. I'm sorry, Prairie Club, the Dunes course.
What's on top of your bucket list?
Crystal Downs.
Who's your favorite golfer of all time?
I like Zach Johnson. He's an Iowa guy. He was a grinder. Went to my wife's college. It's sad to see what the narrative around Zach's been the last year and a half, but he's my guy.
Cool. All right. What's the most cringe-worthy look on the golf course?
Snapping your fingers for the ball to sit.
Okay.
I love that.
All right. Your favorite halfway house indulgence?
Uncrustable.
All right. Favorite post-round beverage?
Oh boy. Anything with booze in it. Miller Lite.
Gambling on the course or just playing for fun?
Oh, gambling.
Okay. Now here's one that's going to take a little thought. So quickly describe the best shot you've ever hit, time, place, and circumstance.
I can tell you exactly what it is. So to the year is 2008. It's at Irv Warren in Waterloo, Iowa. You guys ever heard of the Waterloo Open? By chance, it's a mini tour event. It's a great mini tour event. I was at UNI, University of Northern Iowa. The boys were playing at Air Force Academy. I didn't make the travel squad that week. I hit a 5-iron from like 210 to like 2 feet, tapped in for an eagle. I shot 67 and I qualified for my first college tournament, Division I college tournament. Very not world beaters. I walked on. Honestly, that memory will stick with me until I die.
Awesome. So what do you cherish most about the game of golf?
It's a great question. I will say playing with people that you enjoy playing with. My grandfather is no longer around, but I love playing with my grandfather. My dad is still around, but he can't play golf anymore because he has MS. And so I think, just building those relationships and building those memories with people that you care about, I think is just a tremendous, tremendous thing.
Awesome. So your bonus question, how many aces do you have?
0.
What?
Yep.
Me too. Makes me feel
it's brutal.
What?
Drives me crazy.
Andy, you're the only one here. You stick.
Are you serious? None of you guys have one?
No.
I've got my double on.
You've seen my golf swing. Come on.
Alan, my grandfather who took up golf at like 6.
All right, moving on. Anyway, one last quick question. We're approaching the 18th. Quick question. David Miller, do you think wearing shorts on live tour should require good-looking legs?
Live tour.
I
meant to say.
Sure.
That was a very contemplative answer, Brendan.
That's an outstanding question.
Yeah.
All right, Bobby.
I have good legs. I might have a good forehead, but I got good
What's
legs.
the answer, Bobby?
So here, the question was, Minwoo Lee wins the PGA Tour event this last Sunday. So he's the third. His sister won on the LPGA Tour. So there's 3 pairs of brother-sister tandem that have won PGA Tour and LPGA Tour. Who are the other 2? Kathy and Bill Kratzer.
Oh, that's what I don't know. And Kelly Keeney and Hank.
Yeah, he didn't win on. Yeah.
Oh.
And then Jackie Gallagher Smith and her brother Jim Gallagher Jr.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
That's a brain teaser.
Mm.
It's a wicked good one.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
18th green BE. Final thoughts.
Looking forward to my trip next week. I'll be heading out this weekend. Didn't get tickets to DCP this year. Disappointed about that, and the women's AM. So women's amateur, check that out. It's really a good thing to watch.
Mr. Hydorn.
So I got 2 things like always. So the TGL is already talking about having people interested in new franchises. Dallas's name was thrown out. I think it's interesting, and I see it continuing to grow. But in kind of the honor of the Augusta National Women's Am, there's a girl who played for Stanford, Rachel Heck, who's a really, really good player. I think her mom was a really good player too, if I remember correctly. But Rachel Heck has had a storied career in college golf and amateur golf, and basically has given up the game for playing professionally or seriously. And she's now, I believe, in the Air Force, and has chosen a different path. So great success, and pretty cool to watch someone like that not choose the most common road.
Jared?
Yeah, piggybacking off that, what Andy said there, golf.com did a piece on Rachel Heck. I think they put it out yesterday. A tremendous read. I mean, it is so good. Highly recommend, if you guys haven't read that, go read that. It's like it took me a while because I had to reread some stuff because it was so good. Very good piece. So what's the deal here, Alan? What do we do here?
Just final thought.
Final thought. Looking forward to playing with the boys on Friday for the first 18 whole round of the year. So in Iowa, it's brutal. It snowed today. I'm looking forward to getting outside and having a beer or two with the boys and get some fresh air. It's either 73 for me or 83, no in between.
I thought you were going to say about the temperatures, because my first college event was 70 degrees at 8 a.m. and it dropped to 40 in rain and wind.
Ooh.
BB, what do you got?
Yeah, real quick. After 15 years and over 400 shows, Martin Hall finished up an amazing run on the Golf Channel this week. Fellow PGA member, award winner. Fantastic what he did. Sort of like Jared in some ways, just taking the game and coaching and distilling some complex ideas around the swing into some very simple, repeatable things that people can appreciate. And he just, remarkable what he did well on the Golf Channel with the show. So just want to salute Martin Hall for an amazing run.
And actually, mine's going to echo Jared's. I actually played a round of golf, Andy. I did. Oh. Yes, I picked up the clubs. I got out with the guys. It was ugly. It was really bad. And I hurt. Lots of aches, lots of pains.
So, Jared, real quick before we end, and we'll add this into the social media, how can more curious and intelligent people sign up for your Perfect Putt?
Yeah, if you Google Perfect Putt, it'll come up there. It's also perfectputt.substack.com. I appreciate you all having me on. It's been fun chatting with you guys. It's been a fun conversation. Cool.
We'll have you back again. Thank you.
Thanks, sir.
Folks, until next time.
You only have one opportunity to sell your golf property. Shouldn't you partner with an expert that offers you 30-plus years of golf industry experience, combined with the reach of a global leader in real estate? Colliers International Golf Brokerage and Advisory Services understands your unique business needs. Whether it is brokerage, management, and consulting, be reassured that the market leader in the business of golf is providing you the real answers and practical solutions you deserve. Contact Golf Talk Live co-host and Colliers Golf Advisory Services member Alan Depew today at 717-554-8519. That's 717-554-8519.